Can you please explain to me what is happening? Why is this group so happy? That is what Adrian, the person in charge of our transportation for our retreat, asked the organizers from Modern Collective, Lauren and Cecilia. He had never seen anything like this before. Welcome to Possibilities with me, Hina Khan. I'm a peak performance coach and I help my clients create a life they love, one that is rich in all areas. And we do it through ease, joy, and fun. So here is what happened. Let me catch you up. It's the last day of the retreat and we are going on an excursion. We are going to a cenote, which we have reserved, so it's going to be private, just for our group. And then we're going to go to a town close by, have a little stroll, and have dinner. The cenote was amazing. Oh my gosh. The group is bonding, swimming, jumping off cliffs. What did I do? I did go in the water. I took the steps down. I'm not going to lie. I didn't jump in and I held on to a floaty. And it was, for me, perfect. I absolutely loved it. It was beautiful. So then afterwards, we make our way into town. And the weather is gorgeous. We have a stroll and everyone is going to then meet for dinner. The dinner is outside, but it's partially covered because now imagine we've got this really, really long table, right? So part of it is covered and part of it isn't because we have 30 plus people. And then it starts to rain. And I'm not talking a little sun shower here. I mean, it was a torrential downpour. It came down heavy and it came down fast. So there were some people that were at spots of the table that were completely exposed. So they're having to kind of come over and move to the side, which is partially covered. So we are getting wet. But what happens is so interesting because nobody's making a fuss about it. Nobody is freaking out. We just kind of adjust. We just shuffle over a little bit. There's no drama about this. The staff of the restaurant, along with Adrian, Lauren, and Cecilia, are moving into action, and bless their hearts, they are moving fast. Adrian got towels out of the vans. He's wiping down tables. Cecilia is trying to put up umbrellas with the staff. I mean, they were really working to try to make it somewhat bearable. But in all honesty, it was totally bearable. And then it stops. As fast as it came down, it stops. And so then we spread out again. And guess what happens? It starts pouring again. And now some people even have food. So the food is getting wet and everybody moves into action and then it stops again. Here's the thing. That dinner was magic. It was pure magic. And the rain is not something that I really thought of until this whole thing happened. We just adjusted. I think what was so wonderful was that everyone connected and they laughed about it. And it was just about being together. And I was so full of gratitude. And you know what? I wouldn't want it to have been any different. So here's what Adrian didn't understand, which is why he asked that question. He did not understand why this group, why we were so happy, why we were not bothered with the torrential rain. And I was surprised by his question. I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. And so I said to Lauren, I said, well, what would other groups do? And she said, the minute it started to pour, they would have started to head back to the hotel. They would have climbed into the vans to go back to the hotel, and they would have been grumpy. They would have been complaining. And if you listen to the previous podcast, you know how I feel about that. They would have been complaining, and they would have been hangry because, now they're hungry too. And it's also like an hour drive back to the resort. And the kicker is that she goes, and they probably would have blamed us for the weather as well. I cannot even understand that. Like, why would you choose to create that? And yet, this is what happens. People are forever affected by the external, allowing the outside to determine if they will enjoy something or not. What if you decided who you were going to be regardless of the circumstances? What if you decided at the beginning of the day and then you met your day from that place? You know what I decided, and my team knows this, my clients know this too. Nick and Alex, they know this too. That today is the best day of my life because that's what I decide. And I decide that every day. And guess what? It is. When I think of my own coaches, this is why I've always paid for proximity. I have seen who they be in everyday situations. I remember in 2015 being with Bob Proctor in a small group. The investment was probably around $30K US for 2 days. It was in Scottsdale, Arizona. The hotel, well, bless Bob's heart, it was very old and it was very tired. The carpets, they needed to be replaced. The rooms were dark. And I got to tell you, me putting my makeup on in a dark room, that is not fun. So the rooms are dark. The Wi-Fi is inconsistent. And so I'm at the front desk and there's Bob with his BlackBerry, bless his heart, trying to get some help to connect with the Wi-Fi. But here's what I learned. I learned in that moment how he handled a frustrating moment. And that was worth the $30K hands down. If I got no coaching from him in that event, I got all I needed. In a world where how our group handled a situation with ease, joy, and fun, this is an attitude that we don't see modeled for us. We don't see this. I mean, come on. I was even thinking about this the other day. All of the videos, the viral videos of people losing it, of people complaining, of people being upset. But there are places, like in our group, where we don't do that, where we create who we are. And I would say to you, and this is why I pay for proximity, you want to get into those types of places. Because you know what? Those are the people that are fun to work with. Those are the people that are fun to being around. And I say this because, Nick and Alex are filming this, and I know that they think we're very fun to work with. I know that when they know that we are in their calendar, they're very happy. I've decided that. But I think that's true because we don't really freak out. And so they leave the events, they leave our, taping days, not feeling stressed, not angry, not frustrated. They probably leave feeling pretty satisfied that they've done a great job, they know they made an impact, and that we appreciate them. So we had 38 clients on this retreat, which means we had 38 different experiences. Each client created their own experience and chose who they were going to be. Their experience was not created by the hotel, by the food, by the weather. It was them. It was who they were being. And you know what? As you can imagine, if you're going to go down to a retreat or on vacation, you may look at the weather. Do you look at the weather? You probably look at the weather, like what's it going to be? People were shocked when I told them, I don't look at the weather. Like, what does it matter? Let me tell you about this one thing. So Gabby's like, we're doing this outdoor thing at the retreat, bonfire on the beach, and then going to go in the ocean. Gabby says, well, I'm just looking at the weather. We should have a plan B for a plan B. Now, she leaves this for me in a voice note. I don't respond. She can have a plan B. That's totally fine. I'm not having a plan B. So to me, it's going to be fine. And if it rains, it will actually add to the experience. So I wasn't worried about it. So sometimes my team knows that sometimes I just don't respond. And then they figure it out, and then they come back, and then I get a voice note saying, you know what, I don't know if we need a plan B. That didn't happen in that case, but you give enough time, they'll figure it out. Okay, so can I go further with this? In this book, which you can't see if you're listening to the audio, it's Living Untethered by Michael Singer. This is what he says. He says, let's say for you, what you want to feel is love and joy. Like, you want every moment of every day to feel complete well-being, as high as I've ever felt before, and to be inspired by everything I do. Now, that is a list. That is a to-do list. Now, how do you reach such a state of unconditional love and well-being? Instead of trying to get the world to match your limitations, to match your complaints, to match your lack, you work on letting go of all of that. You work to seeing the beauty and the opportunity in every situation. That is the secret of real spiritual growth. That is the real paradigm shift. Isn't that so good? So you decide that it's the best day of your life. You decide that no matter what the weather is, it is going to be fine and you're going to have an amazing experience. You decide that. Who do you want to be regardless of the circumstances? Who do you want to create? And here's the thing, people are going to want to be around you. They just naturally, people are going to gravitate towards you. They want to be around you. They want to be in your proximity. They want to be in your energy. And this is why I say, every single one of my clients transforms just from being in my energy. So let me know, who do you want to be? How are you going to show up? And you know what to do. Rate, review, download, subscribe, do all the things. And I will see you here next time.